Hello YouTube, my name is Alston and I make YouTube videos for people that are just getting started with affiliate marketing, passive income, and making money online. Today we're going to create a business plan for your blog so you can be successful right off the gate. We're going to take every aspect of a business plan, apply it to your blog so that you can make money as soon as possible. Let's get started. When you think about a business plan in general, usually what a business plan is, it's a formal letter or document that you would give to a bank or someone that's going to finance your business. You create a plan of action, you talk about how you're going to be successful. We're going to do basically the same thing, but we're going to hang on to this business plan and apply it to our blog so that we know when our blog is successful. This business plan can be informal unless you are seeking funding from a bank or some other institution, but in general, this is just going to be a handy guide for us to keep us on track. So the first thing with a business plan is an executive summary. This is a 1 or 2 sentence overview of what your business is going to be about, what the business plan is going to be about, and how you're going to make money, what products or services you're going to sell. This is going to be a short paragraph or a few sentences that you would give to a bank or financial institution, and they would say basically yes or no based off of this paragraph. So for the purposes of this blog, our executive summary is going to be, I'm going to create a blog about something, or I am going to help people learn about something. That something can be about microphones, headsets, cameras. It could be really about anything, but you need to frame it in a way so that you are making a declarative statement to help somebody or something. I'm going to help beginners learn about affiliate marketing so that they can start on the right foot. That would be a good example of an executive summary. I am going to use my knowledge in marketing and business to help people get on the right track with their affiliate marketing business. Another good example of an executive summary. It should be short, concise, and to the point. If you can't answer that question in a few sentences, you haven't clearly thought out your executive summary or your business plan. Next, company overview. Now, normally with a business plan, you're going to spend a few minutes or a few sentences talking about the company in general. Here, we would actually talk a little bit about ourselves, our knowledge, and our experience with the product or service or niche that we are promoting. So things that you could include in your company overview are a little bit about yourself, the experience that you have in your niche or product or service, what knowledge that you have, and how your knowledge can help someone else. Also, you may want to include the different perspective that you're going to be bringing to the table versus what someone else has already brought to the table. Next is the market overview. So basically here, you're going to spend a few minutes talking about the niche or getting a better understanding of the niche. So things that you can answer. What is the niche that you're entering? For example, if you're entering the headphone niche, maybe you are thinking, I'm going to enter the electronics niche, focusing on headphones. You want to make sure that you understand the top level niche and then do what's called niching down or niching down. Things that you should consider when selecting a niche is the size. If it's too large, you're going to be competing with major players. If it's too small, there's going to be few people fighting over few customers or potential customers. So you need to get an understanding of exactly how big your market is or potential market is and what your market size can be after a certain period of time. One thing you want to look out for is what's called oversaturation. Basically what that means is there's too many people competing for too few clients or customers. Oversaturation basically means that you're fighting for a very finite number of people. Maybe the market size is shrinking and you're all fighting for the same piece of the pie. Oversaturation can result in a loss of sales and ultimately a failure of your blog. Next, let's talk about market size. And basically with market size, you're getting a better idea of how many customers are in that space. For example, if you're looking at headphones or you're looking at microphones, you may want to consider everyone that's interested in a microphone, what their purposes are, and then go from there. One good way to get an idea of your market size is to look at something like Google Trends While there aren't going to be exact numbers, it can give you an idea of the market compared to another electronic. For example, you may want to do a comparison between headphones and microphones. That'll give you a good idea of the market size with respect to a different niche. Another thing you need to consider is, out of that market size, how many customers are you actually going to provide helpful content? You have to realize that just because you're entering into a market with, let's say, 100,000 people, not all 100,000 people need helpful content. Maybe only 50,000 or less, and then that actually speaks more towards saturation and oversaturation. Now, again, these are all things that you need to consider while you are creating a blogging business plan. If you disagree, if you have a comment, definitely leave a comment right here about what your thoughts are about the executive summary, about the overview so far. Next, you need to understand or consider the target audience. Now, even though, once again, you are targeting maybe the headphone niche or the electronics niche with the sub-niche of headphones, you need to consider how many people are actually going to be in that audience that are looking for assistance. You need to consider, is your target audience predominantly male, predominantly female? That'll actually help you determine where you need to market or how you need to market your blog. For example, we know that more females than males are on a site like Pinterest. So if you are doing something that is considered male dominant or masculine, you may not have as much success with Pinterest as you would with YouTube with growing your blog business. Next is customer needs. Now, with customer needs, you want to make sure that you understand how well the customer or potential customer understands their needs. The reason why they're looking to purchase a product or service is there is a perceived need, and you need to know, or at least have an understanding of how well your customers understand those needs. They may walk into it thinking that they need X when they really need Y. You will need to be able to create content that accurately and clearly points them in the right direction so that they can see you as an authority in the space. Another thing to consider with customer needs is does the type of niche require foundational entry-level information, or do they need expert-level opinions, thoughts, and considerations? This will be very, very important when you are trying to get the customer to know, like, and trust you. If the customer is expecting to learn very basic information about the product or service, and you're talking at a very expert level, that customer is going to be turned off and they're going to go somewhere else. So what the customer needs is very important in this business plan and when you are creating your blog. Next is direct and indirect competitors. Now, it'll be difficult when you're first blogging to determine the direct and indirect competitors until you start doing some keyword research. When you're doing your research, you want to enter in questions that your customers, or what you expect your customers to ask, into Google or other search engines. The websites that show up over and over again, those are going to be your direct competitors. So you want to gauge their strengths and weaknesses and possibly bring something to the table that they're not able to. You may also consider an indirect competitor, someone that's using a different format or medium to provide helpful content. For example, if you are in the blogging business and someone's providing similar content via YouTube, that's an indirect competitor. If someone is providing helpful content on Pinterest, they're an indirect competitor. Indirect competitors are going to be a little bit tougher to find because they're most likely not going to show up in the search engine results. When creating your business plan, you need to understand what your competitive advantages are, what you can bring to the table that your competitors cannot. For example, if you are competing against a large site like maybe ESPN or one of the top dogs, maybe your personal experience in the sport is something that ESPN or one of the top companies cannot provide. Maybe you have a personal relationship with one of the top players in the industry or in the game. Most likely, the ESPNs of the world won't be able to provide that personal relationship. So you need to spend some time thinking about what advantages you have versus your competitors and how you can use those advantages to gain subscribers, readers, and eventually customers. Failure to understand your competitive advantage will result in failure or your blog being less successful than what it can be. Next is products and services. Now that you have selected a niche, you have figured out a way to answer your customers' problem and fulfilled their perceived need, what products and services are you going to recommend? Now, this is important because as an affiliate marketer or a blogger, you're going to want to pick a balance between something that's going to solve the customer's problem and something that's going to reward you for your efforts. Usually that reward comes in an affiliate commission, maybe advertising dollars, or info product that you create. What you want to make sure that you do is you want to make sure that you are recommending products and services that will give you a return on investment, an ROI. Things that you should consider when you are looking at products and services are commission, the size of the affiliate sponsor. So like you want to make sure that you're using a large, well-known, well-recommended affiliate like Amazon or Best Buy or some of the other ones, because people are going to be a little bit hesitant to click on a lesser known affiliate program if they don't know it or if they haven't had personal experience with it. So those are all things that you need to consider when you are looking at your products and services. And again, this goes towards the blogging business plan that we are creating so that you can be successful when you start your blog. What are your thoughts so far? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Have I missed anything with the different points that I've made so far? Leave a comment below if you're still with me and you agree or disagree. Next is pricing. Pricing is going to be a very important factor in not only the products that you recommend, the commission, as well as how quickly a customer is willing to buy. It also plays a role in the amount of value that you have to create in the product or service. For the most part, if a customer has to spend more than $100 to $150, that's something that's going to require a lot of value that's built up. So you may need to spend more time, more energy, and more effort generating that value so that the customer is assured that their need is met. If it's something that's less than $100, usually a customer can impulse buy, they'll buy the product or service, and then they'll move on. The other thing about pricing is the commission aspect of it. If you are recommending or promoting products that are less than $100, you can expect a small commission. However, if you're recommending or promoting a product that has over $100 to $150, the commission is going to be a little bit more, so you will actually earn more or be rewarded for your efforts a little bit more. Another thing you need to consider is the cost to start your business. In this case, to start your blog is probably going to cost you about $70 to $100 per year. It'll cost you a little bit more if you decide to purchase what's called a premium theme. This, of course, is assuming that you're using WordPress, but costs can vary depending on the content management system that you decide. Next is promotions. How will people find your blog? For the most part, a blogger's golden goose is getting ranked on Google. In addition to Google, you can also promote your blog on social media sites like Pinterest, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and anything else that's out there. You can also promote your blog using YouTube videos. How else can you get your customers to see your content? The more customers that see your content, the more money that goes into your pocket. So it's very important to factor in promoting your product. The product being, in this case, your blog. When starting out, you don't really need to pay for advertising. It's possible. It may actually do more harm than good, but that's an option as well. What you want to do is to show up organically in the search engine results. You want to make and create good content so that you show up in Google, Yahoo, Bing, DuckDuckGo, or anything else that's called or considered organic traffic. Next is distribution. How are you going to distribute your blog? In this instance, distribution means your web hosting. What host are you going to use to host your content for the internet? While in the beginning, hosting isn't a huge deal, it is still something that you need to consider going forward. A good host is the difference between getting a lot of organic traffic and not getting any traffic at all. Not all web hosts are created equal. I recommend that you start off with a major player to begin with. A major player is going to be well known in the industry, well trusted, and usually have the best deals up front. So when you're thinking about distribution, I'd consider using a larger known web hosting company. Next is operational processes. And what I mean by operational processes is how often you're going to create content. Are you going to create a schedule where you create content weekly, monthly, daily? Or are you going to hire out content? Are you going to work with a content management service? Are you going to hire freelancers? These are all things that you need to consider when you are starting a blog, and you need to include them on your business plan. Now remember, when you're creating this business plan is designed to help you be successful. You want to make sure that you're taking an honest, hard look at what you're planning on doing with your blog so that you can optimize your success. One wrong move can set you back 3 months, 6 months, or even a year. So make sure with this business plan, you are very honest with yourself. Another thing you need to consider with operational processes is the number of blog posts you'll need to be successful. While this number will vary depending on the niche and the sub-niche, you need to plan to have at least 50 to 100 blog posts to give yourself a fighting chance against some of the larger players. It also depends on the amount of keyword research that you've done. If you've done very, very targeted keyword research where you're the only person to answer a question, then you'll need fewer blog posts. But in general, I'd say plan for at least 50 to 100 to get off the ground and fight your competition. Next is team members. Are you going to run this blog by yourself or with a team? Are you going to run it with your spouse, your significant other? These are all things you need to consider when you are creating this business plan. When you're running a blog or launching a blog with a team member or a group, you need to make sure that everyone is on the same page with their responsibilities. All too often, you see one person doing all of the work, which creates resentment, frustration, and ultimately a bad breakup. If you are planning on launching the blog by yourself, do you have someone to vent to speak to if things aren't going well? You want to make sure that you have that partner where you can communicate your frustrations so that the blog and the progress of the blog doesn't have a negative effect on your well-being. Next is the revenue model. How are you going to monetize this blog? There are a number of options out there, including advertising, affiliate marketing, information products, selling physical products or services, and doing paid sponsorships. Now, within each of those, there are a number of questions that we could actually spend another hour getting into, but you want to consider the steps that you'll need to take to join an affiliate program, to find an ad agency that meets your needs, and the types of digital products that you'll sell on your website. Also, you need to consider what impact selling digital products will have on the other aspects of your business. When you start selling digital products or even physical products, your blog will become more active and less passive. You'll have to deal with returns, customer service, some of the more difficult side of selling products and services. Next is financial highlights. How much revenue do you expect to generate from your blog? Now, of course, this is going to depend on how you monetize your blog, but it's important to set financial goals for yourself for the short, medium, and long term. One thing that you can do is you can set a goal for yourself within 6 months. I want to make $100 per month, $1,000 per month. You want to make sure that your financial highlights or goals are realistic so that if you don't meet them, you can actually take an accurate look and reflect on why you didn't meet them. It's very improbable for you to start making $100 or $1,000 a month, but again, that kind of varies on how you develop your blog. Next, with regard to your blogging business plan, is the analytics. Now, believe it or not, the analytics are probably the second most important factor when you are creating a blog or a business in general. The reason why analytics are so important is because they actually will tell you, they will give you an honest look as to where you're successful and where you're failing. The numbers won't lie. The analytics will tell you the number of page views you're getting, which blog posts are ranking, which blog posts are failing. Analytics will give you as much or as little details as you want. What I recommend is creating some analytics for yourself and giving yourself some analytical goals. For example, you may want to increase your page views by 8% every month. You may want to increase your organic search results by 10% every 2 months. Create and track your analytics so that you know when you're successful and when you need improvement. Next, with regard to creating a business plan for your blog, is the legal aspects of your business. There are a number of questions that you can ask and consider with regard to the legal aspects of your business. You need to ask yourself, do you need to create an LLC if you live in the United States, or similar if you live abroad? Also, you need to consider the type of information you need to put on your website so that you are within compliance with your affiliate network, with the FCC, and so on. One thing every blog needs to have if you're an affiliate is an affiliate disclosure. I created a video just last week about the legal issues of blogging. I urge you to check that out so you can get a good idea of some of the responsibilities a professional blogger needs to have. Finally, at the end of your blogging business plan is the exit strategy. Here's where you determine when to pull the plug. When do you determine that your blog was successful or a failure? What things need to happen? How much time does it need to happen? What are the indicators that you need to no longer continue this pursuit? These are all things that you need to consider when you are creating your blogging business plan. So to quickly recap your blogging business plan, again, it should be informal. You should have a 1-sentence executive summary, a company overview. The company overview is going to be about yourself. A market overview, which is your market research, determining a niche, the niche size or market size, your target audience within that niche, customer needs or customer intelligence or knowledge, your direct and indirect competitors, your competitive advantage, the products and services that you're going to promote, as well as any products or services that you need to purchase to launch your business, the pricing of the products and services you are planning on promoting. How are you going to promote your blog? What other mediums are you planning to use to help make your blog successful, at least in the beginning? How are you going to distribute your blog? Are you going to use a free service, or are you going to purchase your own domain name and hosting? I recommend purchasing your own domain name and hosting, but everybody's a little bit different. What are your operational processes? So how often are you going to blog? What are your milestones for your short, medium, and long-term success? Who are the team members that are going to help you with this blog? The team member may or may not even write content. It just needs to be a person that you can communicate with about your business endeavor. What is your revenue model? How are you going to monetize this site? What are your financial highlights? How will you know that this blog is successful? What analytics are you coming up with to help you determine if you're being successful? What are some of the legal issues surrounding blogging and your blog specifically? And finally, the exit strategy. How will you know it's time to pull the plug? All right, so that's it for today. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Also, I'm providing a link to a free PDF guide that I've created for people to get started the right way with affiliate marketing. The only thing that's required of you is to leave your email address, and I'll make sure that you stay up to date when I release new content. Once again, make sure that you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and leave a comment below if you agree or disagree with my blogging business plan. Once again, this is Alston. Thanks for watching, and we will see you soon.